Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of OCM's lecture. Till now we learned about Peo's principles of management. In our last lecture we learned about Peo's principles of management, that is modern principle of management. But today we are going to learn about Winslow Taylor's principles of management, that is scientific principles of management. Okay, according to Taylor, he says that every problem should be solved technically with experience, not with trial and error method. So let's proceed with the session. So we are going to learn about theories of management of Frederick Winslow Taylor. Okay, Taylor was an American mechanical engineer. He developed the scientific management theory. Taylor formed certain principles of management based on scientific experiments. According to Taylor, management problems should be solved by experiment and scientific techniques. Due to scientific approach towards management, he has called as father of scientific management. Children, we learned about Peale that he is the father of modern management and Taylor is the father of modern management. So let's see his principles. In that, number one is science, not rule of thumb. Rule of thumb you learned in class 9 in physics. So let's not go in detail in that. So science, not rule of thumb. Here Taylor says that job performed in organization should not be based on intuitions or past experiments. Means solution of last problem cannot be solution of the problem in future. We cannot use every solution for every problem or same solution for every problem. Okay. He says that best way of doing a job must be selected and adopted through scientific study and analysis. Standard time required to standard output should be defined by the manager. That is how much time is required to do a particular job. Okay. So next principle is harmony, not discord. Harmony means togetherness and discord means disagree. Okay. So what Taylor says here, according to Taylor, there should be absolute harmony between employees and management. Both of them, that is employees and management, they should think that they are a part of one organization. Part of one organization, okay. They are one, they should not, they are not different entities. They all are one, that is management and employees. There is a need of complete mental revolution, that is complete change in thought process or thinking on the part of the employees as well as on the part of the management, right? Like for formulating the policies, goals or objectives, if management involves the employees, during that process, employees are going to feel like a part of the organization. They will feel more connected to the organization and there will be not much problem in the implementation of the policies. Why? Because those policies were framed or established with the consent of employees. Because equal involvement of the employees were there. Both of them should think of one another. Management should share the gain of the companies and workers should contribute to their best levels. Next slide. So third principle is cooperation, not individualism. You know the meaning of cooperation, you know the meaning of individualism. It says that there should be complete cooperation between management and labor instead of individualism. This principle is just an extension of the last principle, that is harmony, not discord. For all the important decisions taken by the management, workers should take into confidence. It is very important to take your workers into confidence. At the same time, workers should not strike or make demands which the management may not fulfill. Workers should put forth their demands keeping organizational stress in mind, because we know that all the points of the that all the time management or whatever management is taking decision is for the well-being of organization. There should be two-way communication between management and the workers. The management should be able to communicate the workers that right now we are not in a good financial position, or we cannot fulfill your needs or demands right now. Similarly, the workers can also feel comfortable to put forth their problems. So there has to be two-way communication. Next point is division of responsibility. While dividing the work, there should be division of responsibility between manager and workers. Everyone should know their work properly. Manager should plan the task and employee should concentrate on the implementation. As simple as that. Next slide. That is development of employer and employee for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. In this principle, Taylor says that every person should be scientifically selected. Now, what does he mean by that? After you have scientifically analyzed each and every element of job, you found out that standard procedure for doing a job. Keeping that in mind, you should select the right person who will able to perform the job in the best possible manner. By doing so, you are going to enable that person to work to his greatest efficiency. Efficient employee will able to produce more and earn more, and this will ensure greatest efficiency and prosperity to both employees and employers. So here we are done with principles of scientific management. Now we'll move to techniques of scientific management. Okay, children, don't get confused between principles of scientific management and techniques of scientific management. Okay. So techniques of scientific management, number one is time study. See, if you see the word time study, it means study the time or studying the time or observing the time. For what? Why? Manager should study the time so that he can take decision about production or completion of an activity. Manager observes the worker and according to average speed of worker, standard time is set for the particular job. It enables the manager to ascertain the standard time taken to complete a specific job. Every part of total work is studied in the details and the time required to perform that job is calculated. The manager can decide the remuneration to be paid to the workers based on this. Next one is motion study. Okay, what do you mean by motion study? It is study of movement, study of body movements. As you can see, the first point given is it is close study of body movements. This study helps the manager to understand the movement required for a person to do a particular job. By this study, manager can eliminate the unnecessary movements for doing the job. It increases efficiency and productivity of the employees. Third technique is method study. It means study of method. Means which method is best to do a particular job. Deep study of method by a manager, which method will give more output, or which method should be adopted by using the available resources. By the help of this technique, wastage of time, raw material will not be there. Fourth one is standardization. As you can see in the first point, that is selecting the standard tools and equipment for the production. It says the tools and equipments used, that is machine, should be of good quality. Management should not compromise on the quality of tools. This helps workers to perform the job easily. Secondly, it is given maintaining standard working condition at the place of work. The working condition of the worker should be good and healthy. If the worker is working in healthy environment, they can give their best. And the last one is different piece rate plan. It is very important. It is different piece rate plan. According to Taylor, there should be difference between efficient and inefficient workers. Okay. If the worker is working efficiently, of course, he should be paid more. And if the worker is not working efficiently, he will be paid less. We can take an example of A and B. If A is working effectively, of course, he should be paid well. And if B is inactive, B is not working properly, he should be paid less. What will happen about this? What will be the result of this? If A is getting good package, incentives, and B is not getting good salary, this principle or this technique will encourage B to work with more efficiency. And what will happen? Of course, the organizational goal will be achieved because A and B both are working in efficient manner. So here we learned about the techniques of scientific management and principles of scientific management. Okay, how principles and techniques help manager and workers to work their work properly. Okay, how inefficient workers and efficient workers should be worked. Okay, so here we finish our chapter, first chapter. So here we finish our first chapter. In this chapter, we learned about nature, significance, principles of Henry Fayol, who is the father of modern management. And we also learned principle of Henry Fayol, who is the father of scientific management. And we also learned techniques of scientific management. Okay, you will be getting assignments, homework, for which you need to make a different notebook. So children, stay home, stay safe and study. Okay, children. So here we finish our chapter, and in this chapter we learn about nature, significance, then principle of Henry Fayol, 14 principles of Henry Fayol. Then in this session we learn about principle of scientific management and techniques of scientific management.